Okay, this has been a long time coming for me to get to this book, this review on the graphic novel, the hardcover Bram Stoker's Dracula starring Bela Lugosi from Legendary Publishers. I had to check back, so I did a quick exploration of this book back on October 30 of the year 2022. So I've been none too fast to get to this book, but it's been a long time coming, and I'm happy to break down the material on this book here today. And let me say, that was on the Fanboy Cantina channel, where I did the original dive in as part of the Fanboy Cantina 2022 Halloween special. Also noteworthy regarding, I've been meaning to get to this, and just on the podcast, the most recent issuance, the most recent publication from the Monsters That Made Us, at the end of their most recent release, they mentioned in their viewer mail that it was suggested to them to get into this book and to check it out. So that is also a partial influence on me in cracking open Bram Stoker's Dracula. So let's get to credits, and then let's get into the book. So the featured artist is L. Gehring. Carrie Gamble is involved. Richard Starkings, definitely a familiar name to the comics community, and Robert Napton. So again, it's a nice hardcover book with a real nice sleeve. And here we go, already knocking the camera over. Let's start it right. Okay, so the sleeve information here breaks down history on Bram Stoker and a little bit on Bela Lugosi, talking about Bram Stoker's influences and how did he choose at the time what was Transylvania, what is now Romania, for the setting for his vampire novel. Again, a real nice crisp page there. Legendary Comics presents, and let's get into it. So the first thing that caught my attention about this book was the exceptional art. And again, just to formally go through the credits here. So illustrations and cover by L. Gehring. So art director, co-editor, additional art. I'd be curious to learn more. What were the specific contributions that Carrie Gamble made? And then adapted and edited by Robert Napton. I have to guess that Robert Napton looked at both the novel and the movie and did some synthesizing to put things together into the 7 chapters of this book. We have introductions by Lynn Lugosi Sparks and Bela G. Lugosi, the children, the family of the actor Bela Lugosi, and right there, special thanks to the Lugosi estate. Right away, it's a real neat logo to get into, and again, a foreword from Lynn Lugosi and other additional writing material from Bela Lugosi Jr., dating back to Los Angeles of 1920. And again, the intention here, let's get a look at Bela and his son right there. And here's a statue of Mr. Lugosi and his kids being right near the statue. So again, we're not doing a total giveaway. I'm trying to both do a review and encourage people to actually pick this up for themselves if they're so interested, but I'm not going to give away the full story here. This is a bit of a recap. Again, it right out of the gate, when I picked this up off the shelf at Barnes & Noble, I was totally impressed to see just the photorealism of it, that it's such an excellent rendering of the visage, of the appearance of Bela Lugosi. And then that's not the only skill set of L. Gehring, that's an amazingly drawn wolf, according to my taste and my impression. So every chapter page here has a pretty cool image on it. This one, definitely a maniacal looking face from Bela himself. We start out with the British Museum. So again, whether it's a human figure, whether it's architecture, whether it's an animal, this is all really well rendered. And again, looking at the differences and similarities between the book and the movie. So here we're looking at Jonathan Harker's journal in the original Dracula written work. there were many collected different writings from many different sources. The movie, of course, needed to zero in or be more targeted on its setting and on its focus, and not change locations quite as many times as the book did. But so here we go. Now this shot up here, I think it maybe took some influence from Universal Studios, from the village setting, which was utilized in many of the classic black and white Dracula pictures. But that to me was a really great rendering. And then also noteworthy here, this shadow had a bit of a Nosferatu, a bit of an ominous, foreboding presence to it. So I'm just looking to give some clips, some noteworthy. I mean, we could go panel by panel, and it's all amazing. But just in highlighting a few of the outstanding pieces of art here, the carriage, the horse, they're all drawn really, really, really well. Coming up ahead a little bit more is talk about ominous photos right there. So again, at that time, it's not known that this is Count Dracula, the character. We've got the hat and the mask. So now we got a little bit of a man of mystery element. The carriage approaching the castle. I'm liking it with the building of suspense, and then here the reveal. I'm Dracula. The way he's holding the lantern, the details in the lantern casing there, it's all quite impressive to me. So here for chapter 2, as we can see, we don't have Bela's face here or Dracula's face. There's an image of a bat. Again, let's get a little zeroed in on the bat because it is really well rendered. Okay, so highlights from chapter 2. Again, every different, I don't know how much photo reference was used, or are you hitting pause during the movies when you're putting the imagery of Bela Lugosi's face together here, but it is really, really good stuff. All of it black and white, similar to the way the movie was shot, all of it invoking spookiness and invoking the impending difficulties of anyone who would cross paths with Dracula. Again, just capturing the facial expressions, the tone, all of it is man, this is so good. This is so good. Okay, so here's some conversation. Here's some backstory. And then this I thought was so good, as it is in the book and the movie. So when Harker, or in the book when Renfield cuts himself, and then the whole idea of having a cross for protection from Dracula, that's perfectly captured in this format in the graphic novel. But then I could just almost hear Bela reciting the line, "Take care, Harker, take care how you cut yourself." So I thought that was, again, all suspense building. What are Dracula's powers? What are Dracula's weaknesses? That's well explored here also. Again, something that Bela didn't do on the screen was be able to crawl in a Spider-Man-like way, to descend walls or ascend walls, but definitely something that's in the novel and captured here also. So I thought that's really good stuff. Dracula's brides are obviously an essential part of the story in a supporting cast kind of a way. Let me come up here to the next spot that I've highlighted. And again, the detail work on the lantern, and now capturing a blood dripping face, petrified look rendered right there. All good stuff. Chapter 3, again, it's not just the same visual look, but each of the chapter pages has a bit of different emotion conveyed in it. And again, just this is all a home run. We've got the travel on the boat coming across, and we know that's an ill-fated journey for our travelers, except for Dracula himself. I'm going to jump ahead a bit here, and then coming to chapter 4, again, a very stone-faced, serious expression on the face of Dracula there. Noteworthy to me, here's the introduction of Van Helsing within this edition, and what a look at that. Definitely a serious-faced heroic expression there for the character of Van Helsing. Again, and they're beginning their mental chess, their duel between Dracula and Van Helsing upon their introductions. So real good stuff here. Let me again jump around. We've got some transformation for Wolf. Again, some breakdown of, I'll look at the transition in the more traditional paneling stylings here, square grids and such. And now we're having a more frenetic experience as reflected by the separation of the panels here, and maybe a more Neil Adams style, but definitely not square rectangles and boxes at this point in the book. So again, chapter 5. Again, a bit of a confident and menacing Dracula face for the opening of chapter 5. And absolutely, I again suggest people who are Dracula people or Monsters That Made Us listeners, horror fans in general, this is definitely, to my taste, a great pickup. Here it gets a little graphic as to Dracula claiming his victims, chapter 6. And then we're approaching the final chapter of chapter 7. This was, to me, a really great story within the story of, speaking of the olden days. Now you have Bela's face on a soldier, a warrior, sword and shield, armor, and the horse. And again, we're just using black and whites and grays, but just like the motion pictures, so much is conveyed even without the use of color. I thought that was such a great fast break approach, a good use of the cape, conveying motion and speed. It's all so impressive to me. The final chapter, chapter 7, of course, again, not to do spoilers, but just to give a sampler of how good this book is. I wanted people, again, if this is remotely consideration for you, absolutely worth checking out. The back cover right there, 2 names forever bound by Dracula. So again, this has been, and we're in the Halloween season, so we're trying to step up the game on the content a little bit. Local artist Scott put together this Dracula picture right here. I'm looking forward to having Scott come around on the channel sometime to speak on his Dracula art. But in the meanwhile, I will be back again just later this evening with photo artist Nicole Hoff. We'll be talking about Tiki-related business, Barbie-related business. We'll be talking about Svengoolie. And tomorrow, Sunday, monster maven artist, man who's put together a lot of pieces through the decades, Gary Ray will be our featured guest artist tomorrow. We're building up our artist playlists. We're trying to have some fun and feature some cool art in all different kinds of ways. This is Mr. C closing this one out. Please do come back again. We will be back around. Thanks so much, everybody.